Namaskar, hello and welcome to the special broadcast on Sansad TV. I am Namrata Singh. One nation, one election advocates for conducting elections simultaneously throughout the country. However, it does not necessarily mean that all elections will occur on a single day. In fact, it can be organized in phases similar to the current practices. In September 2023, a committee chaired by former President Ramnath Kovind was convened to look into the feasibility of simultaneous elections. On 14th March 2024, the committee recommended conducting Lok Sabha and Assembly elections together. Through this report, let's understand the necessity for one nation, one election, its advantages, its disadvantages, and the path forward. One nation, one election means a concept that encourages synchronizing the electoral cycles of various levels of government in a country. The idea is to align the schedules of the elections of Lok Sabha, state assemblies, municipalities and panchayats, ensuring that they occur simultaneously. The aim is to create a more efficient and focused electoral system.
दुनिया के सबसे बड़े और सबसे जीवंत लोकतंत्र के रूप में भारत पर सभी का ध्यान केंद्रित रहता है। जहां चुनाव एक त्योहार है जिसमें लोकतंत्र के रंग उभरते हैं और देश के सभी हिस्से उसमें समावेश होते हैं। चुनाव का पर्व, देश का गर्व।
On March 14, 2024, the High-Level Committee on Simultaneous Elections constituted under the leadership of former President Ramnath Kovind submitted its report to the President Draupadi Murmu. The report, comprising 18,626 pages, is an outcome of extensive consultations with the stakeholders, experts, and research work of 191 days since its constitution on 2nd of September 2023. The committee examined international best practices, consulted with 47 political parties and the Election Commission of India. Among the political parties consulted, 32 supported the idea of simultaneous elections. Furthermore, prominent business organizations like CII, FICCI, ASSOCHAM, and renowned economists were also consulted to provide insights into the economic implications of the asynchronous elections. In response to a public notice published nationwide, 21,558 citizens from all corners of India shared their opinions, with 80% expressing support for simultaneous elections. After careful consideration of these inputs, the committee proposed a two-step approach towards simultaneous elections. As the first step, simultaneous elections will be held for the House of the People and the state legislative assemblies. In the second step, synchronization of municipalities and panchayat elections with the House of the People and the state legislative assemblies, ensuring they occur within 100 days. The committee also recommended the adoption of a single electoral roll and electoral photo identity cards for all three tiers of government, with minimal amendments to the constitution. To implement these recommendations, the committee proposed 15 amendments to the constitution through two separate bills. The first bill focuses on transitioning to simultaneous elections and managing early elections to Lok Sabha or state assemblies before the expiration of their stipulated 5-year term. The second bill addresses municipal and panchayat elections and the creation of a single electoral roll by the Election Commission of India. The committee acknowledged the need for state approval for certain aspects, particularly those relating to municipal and panchayat elections, which fall under the purview of state legislation. The first bill introduces a new article, Article 82A, into the Constitution, outlining the process for transitioning to simultaneous elections. It also suggests amendment to existing articles regarding the duration of House of Parliament and state legislatures. As per the committee report, Article 82A(1) will specify that on the date of the first sitting of the Lok Sabha, subsequent to a general election, the President will issue a notification bringing Article 82A into effect. This notification date will be referred to as the appointed date. Article 82(a)(2) will state that every legislative assembly formed following a general election held after the appointed date will conclude on the expiry of the full term of the House of People. The proposed Article 82(a)(3) requires the ECI to hold general elections to the Lok Sabha and the legislative assemblies simultaneously. If the ECI determines that simultaneous elections to a particular legislative assembly are not feasible, it may make a recommendation to the President to issue an order declaring that the election to that legislative assembly shall be postponed to a later date, Article 82(a)(4). Nevertheless, in situations where the state assembly election is postponed, the entire term of the legislative assembly will conclude on the same date as the expiration of the full term of the House of People established in the general election. The bill also proposes an amendment to Article 327, which empowers Parliament to enact legislation pertaining to elections for the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and state legislatures. This includes responsibilities such as the preparation of electoral rolls and delimitation of constituencies. The Kovind Committee has recommended that the power of Parliament under Article 327 should be expanded to include conduct of simultaneous elections as well. In the event of the dissolution of the Lok Sabha or a state assembly before the completion of its designated tenure, it's crucial to note that both bodies are initially constituted for a 5-year period following each election, referred to as the full term. The committee has proposed that this 5-year period be referred to as the full term by amending Subclause 2 of Article 83, Duration of House of Parliament, and Subclause 1 of Article 172, Duration of the state legislatures. If Lok Sabha or a state assembly is dissolved before the expiry of the full term, the remaining period will be referred to as the unexpired term, as per the suggested amendments to Articles 83(3) and 172(3). These amendments are also part of the first Constitution Amendment Bill proposed by the Kovind Committee, which it says will not require ratification by states. After comprehensive deliberations, the committee asserts that its recommendations will notably improve transparency, inclusivity and voter confidence. The other member of the committee were Home Minister Amit Shah, Ghulam Nabi Azad, former leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, N.K. Singh, former chairman, 15th Finance Commission, among others. An election is the ultimate expression of profound trust citizens place in a democracy. However, conducting elections is a daunting process as citizens' money and time are at stake. This complexity has led to various arguments supporting the necessity for the simultaneous elections. Every year, on average, the country witnesses 5 to 7 state assembly elections, keeping the nation in a perpetual state of election mode. This impacts various stakeholders, including the central and state governments, government employees, teachers on election duty, voters, political parties, security forces, and candidates. The implementation of elections mandate the imposition of a model code of conduct by the Election Commission.
We in the Commission understand with all humility at our command, that every election is a new test and failure is not an option. The entire election machinery has been trained on all aspects of election management.
As per the 79th report of the Parliamentary Standing Committee, frequent elections lead to the suspension of regular government activities and programs in the state where the election is held, hindering developmental work. The primary advantage of one nation, one election lies in reducing the cost of conducting elections, as each separate election demands significant financial resources. Having simultaneous elections would ease the burden on administrative and security forces who are frequently engaged in election duties. It also poses concerns regarding logistical challenges and its impact on local issues. The Law Commission suggests that this approach would also increase voter turnout by simplifying the voting process. However, even if the simultaneous elections become a reality, there are certain challenges in implementing it. Operational challenges include constitutional and statutory concerns in adjusting the existing terms of some state assemblies to synchronize the election cycle for the first time. Multiple constitutional provisions like Articles 83, 85, 172, 174 and 356 related to the conduct of elections, by-elections and no-confidence motions would need amendments. Logistical and warehouse issues would require twice as many EVMs and voter verifiable paper order trail machines. There may be an impact on voter behavior as simultaneous elections may shift focus towards national issues rather than the local ones. Due to the dominance of central politics, regional parties might struggle to adequately address regional and local issues. If the government targets simultaneous elections in 2029, most states, except those currently undergoing elections, will witness reduced house terms. The decision to introduce simultaneous elections for both the Lok Sabha and state assemblies in 2029 means that preparations will begin right after the conclusion of the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. This will involve dissolving several state assemblies in 2029, even before their 5-year terms end, to enable simultaneous elections. If the constitutional provisions regarding the duration of the Lok Sabha and assemblies are amended during the tenure of the next Lok Sabha, then the roadmap proposed by the High-Level Committee on One Nation, One Election suggests the following steps. The 10 states that got new governments last year will hold elections again in 2028, and the new governments will be in power for about a year or less. These states are Himachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Tripura, Karnataka, Telangana, Mizoram, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Gujarat will have governments that last 2 years or less, as they will next go to polls in 2027. Similarly, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Assam and Kerala will see governments lasting 3 years, as they are scheduled to go to polls in 2026. Only Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and Haryana that go to polls this year, some simultaneously with the Lok Sabha and some later in the year, can have the same government for 5 years.
4 राज्यों में असेंबली इलेक्शंस जैसे मैंने बताया था जून में खत्म हो रहे हैं. सिक्किम जो 2 जून को with 32 असेंबली सीट्स, उड़ीसा जून 24th June with 147 assembly constituencies. Arunachal Pradesh on 2nd of June with 60 assembly constituencies. Andhra Pradesh on 11th June 24 with 175 assembly constituencies. These are the simultaneous elections to the parliament.
The concept of one nation, one election is not novel. According to experts, it dates back to the inception of our constitution. The idea of conducting simultaneous elections is not new to India. The first general election of the Lok Sabha and various state assembly elections were held simultaneously in 1951-52, followed by subsequent synchronizations in 1957, 1962 and 1967. However, the process ended as new states started emerging and some old ones were reorganized. It was completely discontinued after some legislative assemblies were dissolved in 1968-69. Reportedly, the idea to revert to simultaneous polls was suggested in the annual report of the Election Commission in 1983. The Law Commission of India, in its 170th report on electoral reforms, also recommended going back to simultaneous elections. In 2015, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Personnel, Public Grievances, Law and Justice, in its 79th report, analysed the feasibility of holding simultaneous elections to the Lok Sabha and state assemblies. Further analysis and discussions continued, with the Niti Aayog preparing a working paper on simultaneous elections in 2017, followed by the Law Commission's working paper in 2018, which highlighted the need for at least 5 constitutional changes to make simultaneous elections a reality.